All right, so thank you all for joining tonight. We appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and get started with our monthly food for thought presentation. Just a recap real quick for anybody who hasn't attended one in the past. It's a TED Talk style presentation, so it's 20 minutes of handing the microphone over to the speaker of the month. And when they are finished, we'll stop recording and they will sign off for the evening, but often they provide contact information or other information if you have any further questions. We are recording this and it will be interpreted into ASL and posted on our website in the near future. So you'll have access to that. And we are always looking for new speakers. So if anybody has any suggestions for future speakers, please feel free to shoot us an email, make a suggestion. So tonight's speaker is Aaron Stevens. Aaron Stevens serves as the Special Projects Director with the Arc of Frederick County. He has worked with the Arc for more than 20 years. Aaron enjoys using creative habits to create enviable lives for people with developmental disabilities. Aaron has worked to support an author with autism to publish books, established inclusive college opportunities, and directs the day-to-day operation of the ARC's employment supports. Aaron is currently collaborating with wonderful coworkers who have opened a coffee shop, large event space, and culinary training program to bring the community together at the ARC at Market Street. Welcome, Aaron, and thank you.
Hey, thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. It's great to see everyone. I do want to give a shout out. I know you didn't recognize me. Hey, Marley. Marley and I used to do stand-up comedy together. So it's great to see her. Maybe someday you can get her and she can do some of her act. But I am not going to do my act tonight. But it is great to see you, Marley, and everybody else. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Let's see, share. Do you guys all see the PowerPoint? Might take a second or two before it starts sharing. Yep. Is it good?
Yes, it's up.
You're
okay,
good.
Great. So just a little bit about the Arc of Frederick County is that the Arc provides support services to people, for children and adults with developmental disabilities. We were founded in 1958, so we've been a staple in the community for many decades, and we were one of the first agencies to support people with developmental disabilities with living in the community. And at that time in our society's history, it was very common that people with disabilities were often put in institutions when they were born, or if it was found out that they had a developmental disability during their developmental years. But around the late 50s and early 60s, in our community, as well as other communities throughout the country, families started to say that they wanted to support their children at home, and they wanted their children to grow up with their brothers and sisters. They wanted their children to worship where the family worshiped, and that led to people being included in school, people being included in work, and all aspects of the Frederick community. So the ARC came together and was actually founded by parents, and we continue to be an advocacy agency for people today. We are run by a volunteer board of directors, and those board of directors are comprised of people with disabilities, their family members, and other people who are vested in making Frederick an inclusive place for people with disabilities. The mission of the ARC is pretty simple, but takes a lot of work and a lot of community collaboration, is that the ARC provides advocacy, access to resources, and assistance in increasing individual and family connections for people with disabilities. We seek creative solutions to help people with disabilities attain their individual goals. So all of the services that the Arc of Frederick County provides are very individually based. We are the only agency in Frederick County that would actually serve somebody with a disability throughout their entire lifespan. So just to give you some quick snapshots is that, if a child is born with a disability at Frederick Memorial Hospital, it's very common that the social worker would refer that family to the ARC. And at that point, the family would start working to connect that child to support services such as the Infants and Toddlers Program for speech and language and physical therapy. We would also start working with parents to connect for one-on-one peer mentoring or in parent support groups. As that child gets a little bit older, we would then support that child with enrolling into Frederick County Public Schools and making sure that their school was inclusive and that they had the accommodations they needed to be educated. Still following that same child as that child gets a little bit older and they start becoming interested in activities such as Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or YMCA activities or being involved in theater or dance, we would work with those individual communities to help train their staff to make sure that those programs can be accessible for people with disabilities. As that child gets older, we would continue to provide advocacy with Frederick County Public Schools to make sure that they're getting the most inclusive education as possible, and then also help them transition and make a pathway where they have resources available to them as they exit Frederick County Public Schools and enter the adult world. And then for adults, we provide meaningful training programs so that people can access employment. We support people to live in their own homes. The Arc of Frederick County doesn't run any group homes. Everybody we serve lives in their own apartment with roommates of their choice, or they live in their house with their family, or they buy their own house. So everybody has their own say and direction over where they live, who they live with. And then our staff would provide drop-in support throughout the week so that people have access to doing things like going to Planet Fitness so that they can go to their jobs and have support on the job, so that they can do recreational activities in downtown Frederick. And basically anything that person wants to do, our staff would support them with joining that community and then making sure that that community is inclusive for them. And then to bring things full circle, we also offer what's called futures and estate planning. And that is so family members can proactively plan for who is going to be the next person to pass the torch to when that primary caregiver, usually a parent, passes away, but that adult with a disability might still need some ongoing support. So we help set up special needs trusts so that people's benefits are protected, but also look at, the day-to-day values of that family, what that family wants carried on in that adult's life when mom and dad are no longer able to provide that type of support. So the work of the agency is done by support coordinators, and support coordinators are the clinical professional staff who work with each individual person. And we offer what's called person-centered planning and self-direction, where we develop an individual plan to support each person. Through the state of Maryland, the Arc of Frederick County serves about 300 children and adults. 80 of those children are Frederick County Public School students who have autism and get specialized out of school services at home and on the weekends. And then the other 200 people are children and adults who have funding from what's called the Developmental Disabilities Administration. And each of those individuals have an individualized budget that could include like transportation, adaptive equipment, and then also the coaches who would work one-on-one with them, whether at home, in the community, or at their jobs. In addition to the 300 people we serve with state funding, we also serve about 300 people through the generosity of volunteers who come to our agency, as well as fundraise dollars. And those services are provided to help with parent support groups. They offer free monthly care on a monthly basis for children with disabilities and their siblings. We do sibling workshops so that brothers and sisters who have, or brothers and sisters of people with disability have a safe place where they can share both the joys as well as the frustrations that might come up in their day-to-day life. And then we also provide information and referral services, and that can be directly to a family. It could be somebody with an adult with a disability who needs help with a specific problem, but it also can be a community organization or Frederick County Public Schools or a friendly grocery store who knows that there's somebody with a disability who they're in contact with and might need some navigation services or some help. So that information and referral supports about 300 people each year, and that is based on people contacting us and just needing some immediate assistance. We also provide services for people who speak Spanish. We do have a full-time Spanish-speaking support coordinator who works directly with individuals who speak Spanish and helping them navigate through resources, whether it's connections to school, work, or the community. I quickly want to go over some of the bigger services that we offer. One is our employment services, where we help people get individual jobs. So everybody we serve has a job because that job was posted and available to anybody in the community, and they applied for that job. And the ARC is an agency that then provides the support staff or helps that place of employment come up with accommodations and access funding for accommodations so that person can work side by side with people with disabilities. It was common in the past, and this was never with our agency, but other agencies where there would be like contract work for people with disabilities and they would work in sheltered workshops. Our thought, and we're happy to see that the community is moving this way, is that people should have meaningful jobs that make sense based on their talents, their passion, their interests, and their skills, and work side by side with people with and without disabilities. We also provide what's called personal support services, and those are the one-to-one coaches who work with the individuals in their homes, in the community, and also job coaches. One unique thing about our program is that when we hire people, we hire individually based on each person we serve. So while the ARC will provide training for staff and will do initial background checks, the people we serve decide whether or not they want to hire the actual person who works with them. And we feel like that's an important model because you're letting that person into your home, you're sharing very, very personal information with that individual, and you're also relying on them in the community and at work. So we think people with disabilities definitely should have a say in who is working directly with them. We also offer a culinary training program, and I'm going to spend a little bit of dedicated time in a few moments talking about that. But we also provide what's called community development services, and those are supports during the day so people can learn about the sub-communities in Frederick County and learn and decide whether or not they want to be involved with those sub-communities. And that could be something like joining the YMCA. It could be something like taking classes at Frederick Community College. It could also be volunteering at some place where they feel passionate about, or some place where they want to volunteer so they can build some job skills. Other things that we do are offer braided community development services along with day supports. And the day supports are designed, there's a small group of people we serve who have more significant health needs and may need a location during the day to go back and have dignified personal care or eat food in a certain way. So while most of their services are based in the community and going out and meeting other people, they do have that time at the Arc at Market Street to care to tend to their personal care needs. And then we also offer respite care, which are short breaks so that primary caregivers can tend to their own needs, like if they have their own doctor appointment, or if they want to, get away, a couple wants to get away for their anniversary, or if somebody has a hospital stay that they need to worry about for themselves, we can provide staff so that primary caregivers can have a break. I wanted to focus tonight on the Arc at Market Street, which is our building at 555 South Market Street. You've probably seen it, and we share the parking lot with the Keys Stadium. And we use that building to bring the community together. So there are three different aspects of the Arc at Market Street that help bring the community together. One is our meaningful day services. So that's where people with more significant disabilities can use as a launching pad. Maybe in the morning, they would start their day there. They might go to Planet Fitness, then they might go to the library, then they might have lunch at the Common Market, and then come back for an activity before they go home for the day. Other things that people can do during the day are volunteering. But then also we have a lot of volunteers that come into our agency. And the reason we ask volunteers to come in is often to share their own skills so that people we serve can experience new activities in a safe and comfortable environment, maybe before they go out and try it in the community. So for example, we've had yoga teachers come into the ARC and do yoga demonstrations on like a 6-week basis to support people to say, hey, is this something now I want to pursue in the community with my support staff? We've had a gentleman who was studying acting, and he came in and did acting lessons for 8 weeks. And then we tied those acting lessons into how can you use those skills when you go out and meet a potential job employer and go through your interview skills. We've had artists come in. So we use that space to introduce activities to people with disabilities so that they can get a taste of it and then decide if they want to experience more in the Frederick community. And just here's some pictures of people we serve. The one gentleman volunteers at Rock Creek School. The 2 people in the middle, they enjoy fishing, and Kathy enjoys swimming at the YMCA. So again, everything is very individual based and also based on supporting people to be a part of the community. And these are some examples of different programs that have come into the ARC. So Danny up on top, he is doing an art project. So if we see that somebody is interested in art, we would then connect them to an art class at the Delaplane Visual Arts Center and support them to be involved at places where other people who have the same interest and make connections and friendships that way. Down on the bottom, you see there's a dance course and aerobics class, and again, to support people to learn a skill and then go out in the community. And Sarah, who's there with the pumpkin, she did pumpkin carving because that was something that she wanted to learn how to do, and then had a activity out of her house where her and her friends carved pumpkins together. And personal support services can also help people attend Frederick Community College, help people learn skills such as reading, and help people learn skills such as cooking. So one of the aspects of the ARC at Market Street is Charlotte's Coffee House. And we started Charlotte's Coffee House because a lot of people we serve wanted training so that they could have better jobs, meaningful jobs, and jobs in the community. So, you know, I'm talking pre-pandemic at this point, because obviously some things might not be in full operation because of the pandemic. But Charlotte's Coffee House is a coffee house that's open to the Frederick community during normal business hours. And it is staffed, both the register as well as cooking-wise and cleaning-wise, by people with developmental disabilities. We offer this program as a 13-week training program where people work under Scott, who's our main chef, and Scott teaches a 13-week curriculum for people with disabilities. The reason we have the curriculum be 13 weeks is because we didn't want anybody to see Charlotte's as their last stop. It's actually their first stop to getting a job. And so in order to support people to participate in the program, learn, and then quickly get the skills and get a job in the community on a 13-week rotation is what we found was a good time frame, and then also allows people we serve who are a little advanced in the program to mentor some of the newer people that are coming in. So it's a very hands-on program that prepares people for workforce in the Frederick community. And anybody who goes through the program and wants a job at the end, I mean, there have been people who said, hey, I'm not interested in this, but you know, thank you for teaching me. But anybody who has gone through the program and wants a job in the culinary field, we have a 100% success rate at connecting people to jobs. Excuse me. So these are just some different aspects of the backstage area at Charlotte's, where we do the cooking and food preparation. It's a very popular, busy program. And right now we actually have a year-long partnership with Frederick County Public Schools, where once a month for 1 week, each high school sends students with disabilities as part of their transition planning to see if this is something they would like to participate in on a long-term basis after they graduate from Frederick County Public Schools. So that's been an exciting initiative that we just started this year, and it's been very successful. And then we do often rely on volunteers to support that program. Behind Charlotte's, we have space where we have our own garden. So here's a group from Live United who came and helped us tend to a garden one week. And so there are opportunities like that for the community to come in and help people we serve. And then we try to use as many fresh ingredients as we can. So the summertime is a great time where we have gardens out back that, again, are tended, are supported by volunteers, but then tended to by people with disabilities as part of the program. Another aspect of Charlotte's is that helps bring the community in is that each room, coffee shop room that people can visit and dine in has a different theme. So, there's fun rooms that people can pick from. Somebody can, reserve a room if you have a large group that's coming for lunch and you want to place orders ahead of time so that we can be very efficient as people come in. So again, this space is open to anybody in the community, and it can be on a pop-in basis. Hey, I want a coffee and a sandwich, or something that is planned for in advance. And then this is the hallway at Charlotte's, where you can pick your pleasure as you go down the hallway and pick which room you want to have your lunch in. But then in the summer, we have a little outside patio area as well too. And different groups from, the Rotary to schools to small groups of friends come in and use the space. And each week we do serve a particular menu that is individualized for that week. And that does allow us to, really teach people how to make a certain meal. Also allows us to use the freshest ingredients that are available seasonally. And we found that having a variety of a menu and having something specialized week to week has been a great way to offer food to the community. Another aspect of our training program is our 555 South Market Street event space. So the Arc actually has the second largest event space in Frederick County, and this space can be rented out for a variety of events. And then if somebody rents out the space, they will have specialized catering from 555 South Market Street. And those meals, there's a menu, a selection that we offer that people can choose from for their individualized event. And, we've done things from, individual parties where there might be a band who plays, and there might be dinner on one side, dancing on the other side. So there's some pictures of that. And again, the reason we do this is to bring the community in. The community is, supporting the Arc by allowing people with disabilities to prepare the food, prepare the event space, as well as do the cleanup, do coat checks, do registration, and then they're learning job skills that they quickly turn around and use in the Frederick community. And then we also host events for people that we serve at the space as well too. But again, when we host an event, we usually would collaborate with other places in the community. It could be, a social group at FCC. It could be a group of volunteer Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts who come in so that the activities that we offer are appropriate age, but then also a mix so that people have an opportunity to meet people without disabilities. Some other things that have been hosted as fundraisers for the Arc is we've done jazz brunches in that space, and those are times that do benefit the Arc of Frederick County financially, and then those types of resources go right back into our information and referral services so we can assist people who are waiting for ongoing state funding. And these are just some other ways. We also offer takeout, where somebody, or we will offer a certain meal on a bi-weekly basis, advertise that, and people can come and pick it up and then bake it at home that evening. This was an event where there were bands that came together and they were looking for a place to play in the community. So they rented out the space and had a really fun night called Here Comes the Boom. And we had a great night, potpourri of different bands and different styles that played. And that was like, a fun night out. They sold tickets and it was a successful event.
I always hate to do this, but we are at 20 minutes.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. So I'll just go through really quickly then. So here's just some pictures of how that space can be used. And again, I thank you guys for your attention tonight, and would like to encourage you, if there are talents that you have that you'd like to share with people, please feel free to contact us. My contact information is right there. So we can individualize volunteer opportunities for you, or if you are ever looking for an event space, please feel free to contact us, and we'd be happy to serve you. So thank you for your attention. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Aaron, so much. That was great.
Thanks, Aaron.
All right, it was great seeing everybody. And Marley, let me know if you want to do stand up for everybody one night. All right, I'm stopping sharing. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
again.
again. Take care.